Had I looked at the weather conditions in Alberta before deciding to move here, I probably wouldn't have moved here. Like, if I'd made the mistake of researching it, I probably would have run as far as possible from Alberta. But as fate will have it, it never even crossed my mind to check and see what the weather conditions would be like here in Alberta. I think I just assumed that everywhere in Canada is cold. I did not imagine in my wildest dreams that there were parts which were colder than the rest, and there were parts that were pretty fair. Like, if I'd imagined that, if I knew that, I probably would have ended up in BC, very expensive BC. But yeah, that's probably where I would have ended up. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fee. Welcome to Fee Phenomenal. Thanks for being here today. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on this video and thank you for watching. Please now hit the subscribe button and join the community. As for the old viewers and subscribers, thanks once again for watching as always. So today I'll be talking about picking a province or city or territory to live in. This is a very important decision because it's going to be like your first expose into what Canada is like. So it's pretty important enough that it requires its own research and consideration. I migrated to Canada as a federal skilled worker. So what this meant was that I could settle anywhere I wanted, well, except Quebec. So the other 9 provinces and 3 territories I could settle in. I just had to choose. I eventually settled for Edmonton, Alberta, based on a lot of research. So I had no friends or family anywhere in Canada, so I had no one nudging me to go to any particular places. I purely made my decision based on research. The 2 top contenders for me when I was making the decision to move to Canada were Ontario, that's the people's choice. Almost anybody migrating to Canada wants to settle in Ontario. It has a lot of opportunities, so it's understandable why people would want to move there. And then there was Edmonton, Alberta. Those were my 2 top contenders. So I did a lot of research, a lot of comparison between the 2 of them, and I eventually decided to go with Edmonton, Alberta. So these were some of the factors that I considered when I was making the decision to move to Edmonton, Alberta. So the very first one, which would usually be the very first factor for most people, was career opportunities. So it's ironic that I picked Edmonton over anywhere in Ontario because there are a lot more career opportunities in Ontario. But for me, I was more interested in getting into Canada and working with the qualification that I had. I wasn't interested in getting any other additional degrees, at least just at the beginning of moving into Canada. So I'm a lawyer back home in Nigeria, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted to come here and practice. So I decided that I wanted to look at jobs in the paralegal or legal assistant industry. So those were top contenders for career paths for me because I wanted to know, okay, do I really want to practice law or not, or is this something that I would just leave behind me? So with Ontario, you have to write qualification exams. You have to qualify to practice as a paralegal or legal assistant in Ontario. So with my readings now, preparing for my exams, I have come to see that paralegals and legal assistants in Ontario basically do a lot more. There are some roles that lawyers ordinarily play that they can play, so you have to have some qualification. But here in Edmonton, I could jump right into the job market hunting for legal assistants or paralegal positions without having any extra qualifications. So that was a win-win for me. Funny enough, I've never worked for one day since I moved 2 years ago as a paralegal or legal assistant. Like, it's just funny how my decision was based on that. The next factor which I considered was the health insurance. Here in Alberta, your health insurance kicks off immediately. So the moment you register, your health insurance kicks off from day one. So you had your health card and you had the coverage from day one. It was really good to have that assurance when I moved, because 2 weeks after I moved, the pandemic hit, and it was just comforting knowing that I had the protection of my health insurance. But in provinces like Ontario, you would need to pay for commercial insurance for the first 3 months before your provincial insurance kicked in. So this wasn't an expense I was really willing to take on. So I just said, okay, off to Alberta I go. Again, I didn't check the weather. If not, I wouldn't have probably come here. And then the next thing which I considered, some might say would have even been top of the list, was the cost of living. So the cost of living in Ontario compared to the cost of living here in Alberta was just something else. Like, I was looking at Airbnbs for the first month that I was going to be in Canada, and the prices I was seeing for Ontario were in thousands, but in Alberta, in Edmonton, for the 1 month that I was looking to stay in an Airbnb, it cost me about let's just say $600, round figure $600. So it was pretty cheap here. Like, housing and accommodation is cheaper here. I have friends in Ontario that are paying the amount that my flatmate and I are paying for our full apartment, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, kitchen, toilet, with a washroom apartment here in Edmonton. Like, we pay about less than $1,002 a month. But I have friends in Ontario that pay that for just a room, so it was really expensive. And then there was also the factor of GST versus HST. So GST is federal tax for purchase of services or goods, while HST is harmonized tax, so that's both federal and provincial. So here we pay only 5% as federal GST, while in provinces like Ontario and some other provinces, they pay HST, which is the combined federal and provincial tax. So that made a whole lot of things more expensive in Ontario and a whole lot of things cheaper in Edmonton. Like, so I was in BC for Easter, and like, the meals that I bought in BC compared to the prices that I pay here in Edmonton, like maybe a burger meal would have set me back like $12-13 here in Alberta. But when I went to BC, it was like almost $17. So the difference was glaring. Like, even with prices of like things like gas, like here in Edmonton, gas is about $1.49-59. But when we were in BC, it got as high as $2, over $2 for a liter of gas. So yeah, it's the cost of living is really high in most other provinces. Here in Alberta is a lot cheaper. Like, you could see it in your grocery shopping, in just your day-to-day expenses. So that was also one of the top reasons why I decided to go with Edmonton. Then another factor to consider, one of the things that I considered also, was settlement organizations, the availability and the opportunities with settlement organizations. So you might think this is something very unimportant, but trust me, it's really, really important. I missed out on it because of the pandemic. Like, literally, I was informed of the lockdown in a meeting I had at a settlement agency. I was only able to attend twice, and I really wished I could have attended. Like, that was where I made my one friend, but also the information that I would have gotten there from mixing with people, from just talking with the settlement agency guys. So for example, you get back some GST every quarter, but you have to apply for it. I didn't even know that existed. Like for almost 2 years I went without receiving any GST rebates or any GST refund, and eventually I found out, and then I put in my application. So you're entitled to it, but you have to apply for it. So if you do not know, you just do not know. So the settlement agency are pretty important. It's a deliberate decision to make for settlement agencies to exist. They have their role. So yeah, there were a lot of opportunities for settlement agencies here. Another point that I took into consideration when I was deciding where I was going to move to was the educational system, be it postgraduate education or education for your children. For me, while I didn't have any intention of going back to school, I wanted that easily accessible to me if I did decide to go back to school. Like Edmonton has a lot of universities and colleges, so that was also really good. So it was one of the things that I considered when I was thinking of the province or the city where I wanted to live eventually. And so these were some of the things that I could consider. So another thing you could consider also would be locations where you have family and friends. Trust me, is really important. You do not know the importance and the value of your family and friends until you move to Canada all by yourself. So it's important to have that community, because some days I don't want to say you just be depressed, but you just be feeling low, and sometimes you just need that extra hug from a friend, from family. And it also makes things a lot easier for you because you have people that have done it before and that can help you with answers and with information on how to go about whatever issues it is they are facing. Also, another point to consider would be the cost and availability of childcare for those with children. That's also something you should consider, because it's not easy here having kids and paying for childcare. So looking for somewhere where that's a little bit affordable would be nice. Like it's not like Nigeria where you can have a nanny. You can have a nanny for each child's self, but here you have to pay. So yeah, it's pretty important that you look at what the childcare and availability and costs are. And finally, consider the weather conditions. Like one of the things that I kept telling myself when I was moving to Canada was that other people are surviving the cold, so I would survive the cold too. It's not as if I would die. Like if they survived, I'll find a way to survive like them. There's a way you will come out one day and the cold will hit you, like your whole face will just be frozen and plastic from the cold, and you'll be like, why didn't I just go somewhere else? Yeah, so these are some of the things you should consider, because if I had considered the weather, I would have been chilling in BC right now, like enjoying the rain, just being in warmer weather. So if you've already moved to Canada, what factors help you decide where you are going to move to? Like what helped you make that decision? And if you're still looking to move, what are you considering? What factors are you considering when making the decision for where you are going to end up living? Leave your answers in the comment section for me, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer whatever questions that you may have. Thanks once again for watching this video. I hope it's been insightful. I hope I've been able to give you things to consider, things to chew on while you're deciding on what province you'll be moving to. Now guys, please like, share and comment on the video. Leave your comments, tell me what you're thinking, ask me whatever questions that you have, and also please subscribe to the channel. Please share with your friends so that we can grow the community. Thanks once again for watching, and do have a lovely rest of your week. Bye guys.